What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So, Senator Manchin, and hopefully I'll get this out before they actually vote, the final vote here. I'm pretty confident that it's going to pass, but I wanted just to bring this to your attention. There were some people that asked me in the comments, would you let us know which politicians are against this Social Security Fairness Act? And so I'm doing that by showing you, I want to show you this clip, and this is Senator Manchin. And I think what I'll do in this video, I'm going to go ahead and just set everything up for you. We'll watch the clip, and then I'll have a brief statement at the end of this video. So setting this up. So you have Senator Manchin and Senator Cruz. And I might show you both clips, but I'll have to do it in separate videos because this is a very, very long dialogue that they had on the Senate floor, just talking about the fact that there's no pay for, which I told you already. You're going to have politicians that are going to come out and say, well, there's no pay for, so I can't be for it. But the only problem is there's no pay for when it comes to the budget for 2025. That's not completely paid for. There's no pay for us when it comes to our defense spending. And these are two bills that will be passed probably the same day. Either that or they're going to go into the weekend. So we're looking at a situation right now where you have things that don't have pay fors, and you're probably going to vote for defense spending, and you're probably going to vote for this continued resolution and then kick the can down the road until March. I think that's when they're trying to move the government funding to. So you do have some senators that are against the Social Security Fairness Act, and what was it, 73 senators voted to move forward with a vote for the Social Security Fairness Act. So those are probably most of them, I won't say all of them, but most of them will probably vote yes. And you only need 60 votes, and they already had 61 co-sponsors, so they're in a good place. Then you had 27 senators that voted against the Social Security Fairness Act. And these are two of those senators, Manchin and Ted Cruz. But we're going to take a look at Manchin today. And basically what he is saying is, look, we don't have a pay for, we don't pay for anything in Washington. And so, I can't be for this. It's good. And this is what he's saying. It's a good thing. Social Security Fairness Act, this would, make a wrong right. But I can't be for it because we're not paying for it. And then he goes on to blame Congress and all this stuff. We just spend. Well, you're part of Congress. You've been part of Congress for a very long time. You've been spending for a very, very long time. So why the sudden change in your attitude about spending? And so I'll show you the clip, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about it. Here we go.
Senator from West Virginia.
Madam President, I request consent to enter into colloquy with my friend Senator Cruz from Texas.
Without objection.
Without objection. Mr. President, I rise today on behalf of the 476,000 West Virginians who rely on Social Security benefits. A majority of our seniors in every state relies on Social Security benefits, and we know that we're in trouble. The Senate is considering the Social Security Fairness Act, which would repeal the windfall elimination provision and government pension offset from the Social Security benefit calculation, providing relief for many public employees who have been adversely impacted. Now, make no mistake, we have a problem. We all agree. The status quo is unfair, and it penalizes millions of hardworking Americans, whether it's teachers, firefighters, police officers, among others. But we also have an obligation to honor our promises to ensure that Social Security is going to be there for the people who have paid into it and have earned it, and also those generations who come after. We can fix this problem without blowing a hole in the Social Security Trust Fund. This is a $200 billion price tag. And we can fix that without having any effect on our budget. But it's just unbelievable. No one seems to really concerned about what we have and the debt we're facing. One of my first meetings here and hearings I gone to, and this was in early 2011, the Armed Services Committee, I asked former Admiral Mike Mullen, I says, Chairman Mullen, he's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, what's the greatest threat facing America? And I'm thinking I'm going to hear what the military powers around the world. He never hesitated 1 second. He said the debt of the nation will bring us down first. The debt of our nation has brought down every major society in history. And that's exactly what we're on track to do. We have a fiscal crisis in this country right now, and no one's talking about it. On either side of the aisle, we're not talking about it. In fiscal year 2013, we had a federal spending was less than $3.5 trillion. In fiscal year 2023, 10 years later, it's $6.1 trillion. That's a 75% increase. No one can withstand that. Last year, total revenues were $4.4 trillion, which left us with a deficit of $1.7 trillion, the largest deficit in the U.S. history since the pandemic. We've been spending more than we bring in every year for the last 22 years, and the debt that has resulted from it is absolutely crippling. Most Americans couldn't even last 22 paychecks, let alone 22 years of spending more than they brought in. Years of fiscal irresponsibility have brought us to the crisis we are today, which is more than $36 trillion of national debt. That breaks down to $104,000 for every man, woman, and child in this great country of ours. $104,000 liability on every human citizen in the United States of America. And it's terrifying to think that at the end of the fiscal year, we're going to spend more on paying just the interest on our debt than we do to defend our country. This is the crisis we're facing, and we're going into this blindly, and it passed overwhelmingly with cloture at 72 votes. It's unbelievable that no one's even thinking about what we can do and how we could do it better. There's a problem. We can fix the problem. Governors make tough choices. I don't need to tell you all that. But however, as matters stand, we're now choosing to ignore fiscal crisis again. And if this thing hits the wall, that means it increases 6 months. It advances the insolvency of Social Security 6 more months. We're trying to figure out how that we can save Social Security. And we're not doing a thing for the people and fixing the problem we have that's within our means to do so. Our amendment would replace the Webb GPO with a proportional benefit formula, ensuring the public workers receive their appropriate benefits, which we recognize has been denied. We recognize that. Social Security Trust Fund is currently projected to become insolvent in 2033. 2033, less than 10 years. We lead the country with the highest percentage of our population receiving Social Security benefits. Texas is a tremendous amount of people in Texas depending on the same as my state of West Virginia. We need to make sure retirees are receiving their fair share, and we cannot do it at the expense of all beneficiaries and future generations. So I urge my colleagues to listen to my colleague here, my friend, my senator from Texas, and how he's come about putting this together, working together, knowing that it's something that can be done. It's a heck of a fix. We would hope that you all would support this amendment and be able to basically make a responsible, fiscally responsible fix to a very serious problem that we have, keeping the solvency of Social Security for generations to come and taking care of the generation of now that's basically depending upon it. And with that, I yield the floor to my friend.
Okay, so pretty self-explanatory. He's against it, and he's against it only because there's no pay for, but he likes it. I like it, but there's no pay for, and we have a better option, and this option is, I believe it's $25 billion instead of the $200 billion or $196 billion over 10 years. And so they're both, what they're saying is they're both 10 years, but one is $25 billion and the other is $190 billion. So I don't know. We don't know what's in. And this is the thing. This is what politicians will do is they'll bring this stuff up and they'll say, well, look, we have a better proposal. It's right here. But then they don't go into the details about the proposal. They just say how much it is, $25 billion compared to $190 billion. And people look at that and they say, oh, okay, well, that one's cheaper. But what's in that one? How is it $25 billion and the other is $190 billion? This is over 10 years. So how can you do that? And so the money has to be coming from somewhere, or we're looking at this $25 billion proposal to repeal weapon GPO as maybe just new formula. So weapon GPO would actually still be there, but you have a new formula now. And that's what I think they're trying to do there. And so it's not going to impact everyone. Some people are still going to have reduced benefits. So very, very important for you to listen to these politicians and what they're saying because, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. 25 billion, 196 billion. It doesn't add up to me. Something has to be, you have to have less in this proposal and more in this proposal. And so anyway, I just wanted to show you Joe Manchin, and he is against the Social Security Fairness Act. Now, I will, after they do the final vote, I will get that vote tally, and then I will do a separate video, and we'll talk a little bit about who voted against it, and maybe we'll have a little bit more information about why they voted against it, and so we'll do that in a future video. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.